Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
That breaking news from Capitol Hill. Special counsel Robert Mueller said in a rare and remarkable public statement that charging President Donald Trump was not an option his office could consider.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so.
And that breaking news topping our news here at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. Many of you saw Special Counsel Mueller right here on Local 4 about an hour ago, and he shed light on the key findings of his 2-year investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election and any possible attempts to obstruct that investigation. Local 4's Karen Drew joining us live now from the Local 4 newsroom with the key elements of what Mueller had to say. Karen?
He did have a lot to say this morning, Evrod. Robert Mueller calmly and methodically spelled out how his special counsel investigation began, and he explained the conclusions it reached. Mueller left no doubt that Russia worked hard to influence the 2016 presidential election, working through social media and WikiLeaks to damage a presidential candidate, namely Hillary Clinton. Mueller added his investigation did not find any conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russians, but on the issue of obstruction made it clear his office could not file any charges against President Trump, even if it found evidence to support a charge, and he made it clear the evidence was.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime. The introduction to the Volume 2 of our report explains that decision. It explains that under long-standing department policy, a president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he is in office. That is unconstitutional. And I will close by reiterating the central allegation of our indictments, that there were multiple systematic efforts to interfere in our election. And that allegation deserves the attention of every American.
And with that, Robert Mueller said that the special counsel's office is closing and he is resigning from the Justice Department and returning to private life. Now, it did not take long for President Trump to react. On Twitter, he said nothing changes from the report. The president says with insufficient evidence in our country, a person is innocent. The case is closed. Republican Michigan Congressman Justin Amash also weighed in, citing Mueller's statement that charging the president was not an option. Amash says the ball is in our court, Congress. Amash has said the president engaged in impeachable conduct. Now, at the start of his remarks, Robert Mueller said his report speaks for itself, and it appears it will speak for him. He acknowledged he has been called to appear before Congress and said the report is his testimony, and he would not provide any information beyond what is in the report. Of course, we're working on this big story today, gathering reaction locally and across the country, and we'll bring you the very latest on later editions of Local 4 News. Until then, we're live in the newsroom. I'm Karen Drew. Back to you, Evrod.
All right, Karen, thank you. Also breaking at this hour, we have just learned that Governor Whitmer is expected to sign the major auto insurance reform bill tomorrow morning. Now, that bill will supposedly lower Michigan auto insurance rates and allow drivers to choose their own type of coverage. Also breaking at this hour, people living in one community, as well as business owners there, are being asked to evacuate after a gasoline leak that has led to the closure of the entire downtown area. This is in the city of Lapeer. We want to show you some video from the scene there as we tell you exactly what's going on. This is a map of the area showing who is impacted. This is from the intersection of Saginaw and Nipissing Streets west through the 400 block of West Nipissing Street. Rod Maloney joining us live now with a look at what's being done to fix this problem. Rod, I understand that officials are updating us now.
Yeah, they're giving an update right now. Let's go and listen in to the police chief. His name is Dave Frisch.
Able to give an estimated time on when people will be able to re-enter their businesses or their homes. At this point, I'll take any questions that you have.
Joel Fike from NBC 25. Do you know the source of this gasoline?
That's still under investigation at this time. They're working backwards to find out where, by the concentration levels, on where they think that this may have come from. But at this time, I don't feel comfortable in saying an exact source.
Is it affecting the water lines at all?
No, this is strictly the sewer, and the sewer and the water are completely separate.
It would appear that there's a gas leak or gasoline tank leak, is there not? Is that what we're looking
Well,
at?
the source of the gasoline is unknown at this time, so I don't know I can't answer that question any further.
Was there an inkling yesterday that this was an issue?
I have heard that there may have been, but the first reports to us, being the police department or the fire department, were when the incident took place at approximately 4:30 this morning.
And it was quite a loud explosion, was it not?
It was.
What caused the explosion?
Well, I'm not sure at this point in time. That's still being investigated by the fire department. They are the overall head of this investigation. Whether it was an ignition source or a pressure-based explosion, I do not know at this time. That's still part of the ongoing investigation.
So that's the situation here. What we've seen, and Sonny, let's go down this way. We're going to show you down the street here. You're seeing a lot of trucks in the way here, but this is the Nipissing Street in downtown Lapeer. It's been closed off by police. There's a fire engine down here, got a hazmat crew out here trying to get the gasoline out of the sewer lines. They had manhole covers being pushed up by an explosion about 4:30 this morning, and they have decided that it's going to take much of the day to get this taken care of. We'll certainly have an update for you coming up on Local 4 News at 5 and 6. Reporting live in Lapeer, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All righty, Ron, thank you for the update there. Of course, we'll be tuning in a little bit later today. Ron, thank you. We do want to switch gears now and keep you updated on our forecast as we are taking a live look at radar. Brandon tracking some wet weather for us this afternoon. Brandon.
Well, I think most of the wet weather is gone, so we have drier conditions, but probably not completely out of the woods. We had some decent soakers overnight, lighter stuff through the morning, but clouds are low and thick and temps will struggle. 50s still. Once you get along in north of M59, 58 in Pontiac, 57 right now in Lapeer, 63 Metro Airport and in Ann Arbor. Here's a look at that overnight stuff, and then we just got a little splash and dash activity mainly through the morning hours. Not a whole lot showing up. Can't rule out an isolated shower or two this afternoon. Some lake breeze showers. The winds are coming off of the lakes and the weather is approaching the lakes, so that adds a little lift, and could see an isolated Grosse Ile, St. Clair Shore shower this afternoon, but don't cancel your plans. We'll have the Grand Prix weekend forecast coming up.
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Severe storms are still spreading across the country. In the last 2 weeks, hundreds of tornadoes have ripped through more than a dozen states, leaving a path of damage and taking the life of at least one person and injuring dozens more. And the storms are creating relentless and record-breaking rainfall. Devastating flooding is hitting Oklahoma and Arkansas, as well as several other states. The water has gotten so high, as you can see here on your screen, that it's spilling over levees, meaning more homes and businesses could be affected. Of course, our thoughts are with all the people that are affected by that, dealing with all that weather all across the country. We'll be right back.